Hey everyone, and welcome to Healthify-Elkepee. I'm your host, Lalit Kumar Prasad, and I'm thrilled you're joining me today. We're diving into a really important topic, especially as those temperatures start soaring: how to protect ourselves and our loved ones during extreme summer heat. It's more than just feeling a bit uncomfortable. The heat can pose serious risks to our health if we're not careful. We're talking about conditions that can escalate quickly, so being prepared and informed is absolutely key to enjoying the summer safely. In this video, which we're aiming to keep packed with information, we'll share essential tips and strategies for protecting yourself from heat-related disorders during extreme summers. Think of this as your comprehensive yet easy-to-understand guide. We're going to break down everything you need to know, from understanding what these conditions are, to recognizing the warning signs, and most importantly, learning actionable steps you can take to prevent them. Our goal is to empower you with knowledge so you can make smart choices when the heat is on. From heat exhaustion to the more severe heat stroke, we'll cover the risks, symptoms, and prevention methods to help you stay safe and healthy. We'll also touch upon who is most vulnerable and how we can look out for them. By the end of our session, you'll have a clear understanding of how to navigate those scorching summer days with confidence, ensuring that you and your family can enjoy the season without falling victim to preventable heat-related illnesses. So let's get started and learn how to beat the heat together. Alright, let's kick things off by really understanding what we mean by heat-related disorders. It's a term that covers a spectrum of conditions, all caused by your body overheating, usually as a result of prolonged exposure to high temperatures or physical exertion in hot weather. Your body has an amazing internal thermostat, constantly working to maintain a core temperature of around 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit or 37 degrees Celsius. But when external heat overwhelms this system, or if the body can't cool itself effectively through sweating, that's when problems begin to arise. The spectrum ranges from milder conditions like heat cramps and heat rash, to more serious ones like heat exhaustion, and the most life-threatening of all, heat stroke. Each of these conditions represents a different stage of the body's struggle to cope with excessive heat. Ignoring the early warning signs can allow a milder issue to progress to a much more dangerous one, sometimes very rapidly. Think of it like this: your body is an engine. If it runs too hot for too long without adequate cooling, it starts to break down. Initially, you might notice some sputtering or decreased performance that's like heat cramps or early heat exhaustion. But if you keep pushing it, the engine can seize up completely, which is analogous to heat stroke, a true medical emergency. Understanding this progression is vital because early intervention can prevent serious complications, long-term health problems, or even fatalities. This knowledge isn't just academic, it's practical and potentially life-saving. The impact on health can be quite profound. Heat exhaustion, for instance, can leave you feeling incredibly weak, dizzy, and nauseous, significantly impairing your ability to function. If it progresses to heat stroke, the body's core temperature can rise to dangerous levels, potentially damaging the brain and other vital organs. The consequences can include neurological damage, organ failure, and in severe cases, death. This is why recognizing the subtle and not so subtle signs your body is giving you is paramount. Now that we have a foundational understanding, let's zoom in on two of the most significant heat-related disorders: heat exhaustion and heat stroke. It's incredibly important to be able to distinguish between them, as their severity and the required responses differ greatly. Knowing the specific risks and symptoms associated with each is crucial for timely and appropriate action. Let's start with heat exhaustion, which is essentially your body's distress signal that it's overheating and struggling to cope. The primary risk factors for heat exhaustion include prolonged exposure to high temperatures, especially when combined with high humidity and strenuous physical activity. Dehydration is a major contributor as it reduces your body's ability to sweat and cool down. Symptoms of heat exhaustion can be quite varied but often include heavy sweating, cool, moist skin with goosebumps despite the heat, faintness or dizziness, fatigue or weakness, a weak, rapid pulse, low blood pressure upon standing, muscle cramps, nausea, and headache. Recognizing these symptoms early is key because if left untreated, heat exhaustion can rapidly progress to heat stroke. Now let's talk about heat stroke. This is the most serious heat-related illness and is a life-threatening medical emergency. It occurs when your body's temperature regulation system fails completely and your core body temperature rises to 104 degrees Fahrenheit, 40 degrees Celsius, or higher. The primary risk is that this extreme temperature can damage your brain, heart, kidneys, and muscles. The symptoms of heat stroke are different and more severe than those of heat exhaustion. A hallmark sign is a high body temperature. Critically, with heat stroke, the skin may be hot and dry to the touch, or if it's exertional heat stroke, caused by intense exercise, the skin might be moist. Other key symptoms include a throbbing headache, confusion, agitation, slurred speech, delirium, seizures, and loss of consciousness or coma. It's vital to emphasize the need for awareness regarding these symptoms. Okay team, we've talked about the dangers, so now let's focus on the solutions. This chapter is all about practical, actionable tips for staying cool and hydrated, which are your primary lines of defense against heat-related illnesses. These aren't complicated strategies, but they require conscious effort and planning, especially when those temperatures really climb. Let's start with what you wear because your clothing choices can make a significant difference in how your body handles the heat. When it comes to clothing, think light, both in weight and in color. Lightweight, loose-fitting clothes allow for better air circulation around your body, helping sweat to evaporate and cool you down more effectively. Natural fabrics like cotton and linen are generally good choices as they breathe well. Light-colored clothing is preferable because it reflects sunlight and heat, whereas dark colors absorb it, making you feel hotter. Also, consider a wide-brimmed hat to protect your head and face from direct sun, and UV protective sunglasses for your eyes. Next up, and arguably one of the most critical strategies, is hydration. Your body loses a lot of fluid through sweat when it's hot, and this fluid needs to be replenished. Don't wait until you're thirsty to drink. Thirst is actually an early sign that you're already on your way to dehydration. Aim to drink water regularly throughout the day, especially if you're active or spending time outdoors. Keep a water bottle with you as a constant reminder. How much water? It varies, but a general guideline is to aim for clear, pale urine. That's a good indicator of adequate hydration. What should you drink? Water is almost always your best bet. Chapter 4. Protecting our most vulnerable. Special care for a safer summer. When we talk about extreme heat, it's crucial to remember that its effects are not felt equally by everyone. Certain groups within our communities are much more susceptible to heat-related illnesses, and they require special attention and care. In this chapter, we're going to highlight these vulnerable populations, understand why they're at greater risk, and discuss specific advice for their protection. This is where our community spirit and looking out for one another truly comes into play. First, let's consider older adults, typically those aged 65 and above. As we age, our bodies become less efficient at regulating temperature. Older individuals may not sweat as effectively. They may have underlying chronic health conditions like heart disease or diabetes that impair their body's response to heat, and they might be taking medications that can interfere with temperature regulation or hydration. Furthermore, some older adults may live alone, have limited mobility, or be less aware of the early signs of heat stress, making them particularly vulnerable. For older adults, it's vital to ensure they have access to cool environments. Regular check-ins, whether by family, friends, or neighbors, are incredibly important, especially during heat waves. Encourage them to drink plenty of fluids, even if they don't feel thirsty, and to wear light, loose clothing. Help them understand the importance of avoiding strenuous activity during hot weather. If they don't have air conditioning, assist them in finding cool public spaces or explore options for low-cost cooling solutions. Simple reminders and a helping hand can make a huge difference. Infants and young children are another highly vulnerable group. Their bodies are less able to regulate temperature compared to adults. They have a higher surface area to body mass ratio, which can lead to faster heat gain, and they rely entirely on caregivers to keep them cool and hydrated. Chapter 5. Smart Summertime Activities, Mastering Outdoor Safety in the Heat. Enjoying the outdoors is one of the great pleasures of summer, but when temperatures soar, we need to be smart about how we do it. This chapter is dedicated to outdoor safety tips, focusing on how to schedule your activities, the importance of seeking shade, and other practical considerations to help you make the most of the season without succumbing to the heat. It's all about balancing fun and recreation with a healthy respect for the sun's power. One of the most effective strategies for outdoor safety is timing. As we've touched on before, the sun is typically at its strongest and temperatures are highest between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. If possible, try to schedule your outdoor activities, especially strenuous ones like sports, gardening, or long walks, for the cooler parts of the day. Early mornings before the heat really builds up, or later in the evening as things start to cool down, are often much safer and more comfortable options. This simple shift in timing can significantly reduce your heat exposure. When you are outdoors, make seeking shade a priority. Direct sunlight can dramatically increase how hot you feel and accelerate dehydration and overheating. Look for natural shade from trees, or utilize man-made structures like awnings, umbrellas, or gazebos. If you're planning a picnic or an outdoor gathering, choose a location with ample shade. Even short breaks in the shade can help your body cool down and recover. If you're at the beach or park, bring your own shade in the form of a large umbrella or a pop-up canopy. Sun protection is also a critical component of outdoor safety, as sunburn can affect your body's ability to cool itself and can also cause fluid loss. Chapter 6. Emergency Mode, Recognizing and Responding to Heat Crises. We've covered a lot about prevention, but it's equally important to know what to do if a heat-related emergency does occur. Being able to quickly recognize the signs of severe heat illness, like heat exhaustion or heat stroke, and responding effectively can save a life. This chapter will guide you through those critical steps, empowering you to act confidently and correctly when faced with such a situation. Remember, swift action is paramount. First, let's reiterate how to recognize the escalating danger. If someone has been exposed to heat and starts showing symptoms like heavy sweating, weakness, dizziness, nausea, headache, and cool, clammy skin, they are likely experiencing heat exhaustion. This is serious but often manageable with immediate self-care or first aid. The key is to act before it potentially progresses to the far more dangerous condition of heat stroke. If you identify signs of heat exhaustion, the immediate priority is to cool the person down. Move them to a cooler, preferably air-conditioned location. If that's not possible, at least get them into the shade. Have them lie down and elevate their legs slightly. Loosen or remove any tight or unnecessary clothing. Encourage them to sip cool water or a sports drink, but avoid caffeine and alcohol. Apply cool, wet cloths to their skin, or have them take a cool shower or bath if they are able. Chapter 7. Your Summer Safety Pledge. Key takeaways and staying connected. We've covered a tremendous amount of information today, from understanding the nuts and bolts of heat-related disorders, to the practical steps you can take to prevent them, protect vulnerable individuals, and respond effectively in an emergency. My hope is that you now feel much more equipped and confident to handle whatever extreme summer heat comes your way. It's all about being proactive, informed, and prepared. Let's quickly recap some of the most crucial takeaways from our session. First and foremost, always prioritize hydration. Drink plenty of water throughout the day, even before you feel thirsty. Second, dress appropriately for the heat in light, loose-fitting, and light-colored clothing. Third, be smart about scheduling your outdoor activities, avoiding the hottest parts of the day whenever possible, and always seeking shade. Fourth, never underestimate the seriousness of heat exhaustion and heat stroke. Know their symptoms and act quickly. Remember to pay special attention to those who are most vulnerable: the elderly, infants and young children, individuals with chronic health conditions, and those who work or exercise strenuously outdoors. Your vigilance and care can make a profound difference in their safety and well-being. And if you do encounter a heat emergency, especially suspected heat stroke, call for professional medical help immediately, and begin cooling measures while you wait. Thank you so much for watching this guide on staying safe during extreme summers here on Healthify-Elkepee. I truly believe that knowledge is power, especially when it comes to our health. If you found this video helpful and informative, please show your support by giving it a thumbs up and subscribing to our channel, Healthify-Elkepee. Alright everyone, that's a wrap on our deep dive into beating the summer heat. My main goal today, as Lalit Kumar Prasad on behalf of Healthify-Elkepee, was to arm you with practical, no-nonsense information that you can actually use. Because let's be real, extreme heat isn't just an inconvenience, it's a genuine health risk. And knowing how to navigate it can make all the difference. We've talked about recognizing the signs, from that initial, I'm too hot feeling of heat exhaustion to the critical emergency of heat stroke, and most importantly, how to prevent these issues in the first place. Remember, the power to protect yourself and your loved ones largely lies in these simple, proactive steps. Hydrate like it's your job, dress smart, be mindful of the time of day, and always listen to what your body is telling you. And please, look out for the vulnerable folks in your community. a little bit of care can go a very long way. This isn't about being scared of the summer, it's about being smart so you can enjoy it safely. So, take this knowledge, apply it, share it, and let's all aim for a summer that's memorable for the fun times, not for a preventable heat-related incident. As always, stay curious, ask questions, and make your health a priority. Thanks for tuning in to Healthify-Elkepee. Stay safe, stay hydrated, and I'll catch you in the next video. Keep living that healthy life.